Hello and welcome to the Nash Tackle Off the Hook podcast. Just to make you aware, this podcast may contain some explicit/offensive language, and if that's not your thing, you don't have to listen, but I have given you a warning. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
You don't know the half of it, but anyway. I'm skating on the thinnest ice known to man.
He said, and they put a poison in the tank that just instantly kills them. He went, and we've run out of it, so we cut their heads off with shovels.
Suddenly, bang! The whole boat exploded.
Take your sort of 8-inch long piranha and imagine that at 4, 5, maybe 6 feet.
I said, I've revived your dead fish. F off, he said. You haven't.
That was just humongous. It was, I couldn't believe what I was looking at.
I'm just battling this fish out, and I know it's a black man. I'm saying I'll never be a naughty boy again.
If you catch fish and you return them to the water, then you are my brother.
Hello and welcome to the Nash Tackle Off the Hook podcast, episode 50. And I did say I've got to do something special for episode 50. And special, we're at none other than the Nash Expo 2021. Apologies if there's any random shouts or audio. It's not me screaming for help. It's other people around looking at product. And because we're at the Expo, we're going to bring you some of the team's choice, favourite, latest release, new items coming from Nash in the not too distant future. Enough of me waffling. Let's get them in and hear about some exciting new products. Alfie, welcome back, mate. You've been on the podcast, I reckon, almost as much as me. I'm pretty much sure your co-presenter status is back in. How are you, mate?
Yeah, well, that's it. I'm coming back in for the role, mate. I've had enough of everything else. I want your job now. I'm all right, mate. I'm very good, very good. It's nice to be in such lovely surroundings, seeing everyone. Obviously, it's not just the fact of the new products and everything. We get to see all the sales reps. We're never in one place at the same time other than the Christmas party. And even then, it's usually about 10 minutes before someone's in a bush and they all spread out or something. So, no, it's good. It's good to be here.
For those people listening, we are, and you might be able to hear a little bit of background rufflage for people that are observing new product. We're at the Nash 2021 Expo, mate. It might look like we're on the bank, but unfortunately we're not, are we? We are in some Moonshares, living the dream on this podcast. In terms of expos, you've done about, 3 or 4 of them thus far in your career at Nash?
Yeah, I don't actually know since, because the trade show's been here, there and everywhere over the few years, because when I worked at a tackle shop, it used to be at a farm. Yeah. And then I think it was at a farm for 1 year. I've been here 4 years now, I think. So I think this is my third where we've held it at this venue in the Midlands. So, yeah, and it never ceases to amaze me every time we turn up. I've managed to sort of play I'll be up in the evening, lads, last night, watched the football, late kick-off, had an excuse. Chelsea
good
game.
Win, boys.
Very good win, yeah. I haven't spoken to Tommy about that yet, but yeah, solid. Well, the thing is, I was going to watch the first half and come up. But
you were never going to do that, mate.
No, I genuinely was. And then I thought, this is, second half, and I'm glad I did, because of 3-goal second half. But anyway, aside from that, it's, it's good. It was going to come up live. We got here last night in a hotel, in this morning for early, because the retailer's turned up about 8, and this podcast you would have seen the video that we filmed this morning of just when I did the general walk around, just showing you all the new products briefly, just showing what's new this year. It used to be Mikey, but he left us, left me with all the learning the products. I've been on the weekend just like, Mikey, I just need 5 more minutes of your time, mate, just to get the final details, because you know what it is, but obviously when someone's developing it from nothing into everything, he knows it off the top of his head. But
it's his birthday on the weekend as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine
I think it was
that phone call on
his
your birthday. Mikey, help me.
Yeah, just need 5 minutes, mate. Poor guy. He's just probably wants to get on with his plumbing and that. But no, it's good to be here, mate. And it's buzzing already. To be fair, retailers here, a lot of people.
It is busy. Now there's loads of products, and obviously you've done the video, and the guys would have seen on social media on our webpage like a host of specs around the new stuff that's coming out. But I wanted to talk about something in particular with you, and that is a set of alarms that are very much eagerly anticipated. Talk to me about the new R4s, mate.
Now, this, in my opinion, is probably one of the biggest launches, certainly since I've been here, in terms of, from a marketing point of view, where I'm sort of relied upon marketing and social media, like the build-up. It's exciting for me, but but I think for the public as well, it's just got to be the biggest, one of our biggest launches in, well, I don't know, before the R3s really. Everyone loves a gadget, so I'd definitely say like this is one you can build a lot of hype about. It was Blair, mate. I remember Blair on his story, probably the best part of a year ago now, just had one of the sample R4 receivers, and he just flashed past it in his story, and the eagle-eyed viewers, they pause it, screenshot, it's in the discussion groups on Facebook, they're like, oh, R4s are coming, and then there was just nothing, like almost blanket, nothing until a couple of weeks ago where there was a little bit of drip feed in. We had the European trade show last week, so they know, the public know now that it's they're coming out, but there's hype for a good reason, mate. Yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing product. I've had the pleasure of using for a little while now, and they're a good bit of kit. And if you said to me, like, there's your R3s, which I've loved, I'd almost say, why would you bring an R4 out? Because like the R3s are, I know it sounds silly, at the end of the day, all you need it to do is go bleep when you get a bite. Is its most basic function, reliability, that's the most important thing. Of course. For me, I suppose with most people, is the fact that if you get a bite, it's going to bleep and it's going to tell you, and you're either going to wake up or you're going to know you've got something, a fish on the end. And they were bulletproof. Like, I remember I fell over, my receiver fell out in the lake. I didn't know it was in the bottom of the lake until about half hour later. And I still use that receiver for my R3s now. Still works. It's underwater for 30 minutes and it still works. So
I think that's one of the things with those alarms, like, and we're going to talk about the difference, if you like, between R3s and R4s. But for me, I used R3s even before I was with Nash for that, pretty much that factor. Like, I'm pretty heavy-handed. They've been drowned. They've been smashed around my bag. Obviously, none of this is advised when you're using any alarm heads, but they obviously still are reliable and still work, especially the receiver system. Absolutely brilliant. For you, and I know you've done a bit on this because obviously you've used them, you've sort of spent some time with them, but also when it comes to the Expo, in terms of like signature launches, as you say, that's probably one of those standout items. Now, the difference between the two and why that sort of benefits as an angler, talk to me about that.
Yeah, okay, so in terms of features, there's loads of different features. I'll probably start on, there's a few which take a little bit more explaining, but we'll start for the basic features in terms of the ones that's quite obviously different. Yeah. So the R4s now, the LED colour is interchangeable per head, so you don't buy a set of blue, set of white, mix and match. You can change to 5 LED colours, I believe. I believe it's purple, clear, or white, green, red and blue. Pretty sure it's 5, those 5. Okay. And then there's 2 brightness settings on those LEDs. So you can cycle through, and there's 2 different light intensities on the LED flow. So yeah, essentially 10 different brightnesses across 5 LEDs.
You a free matching man or a one of each colour man?
I'm one of each. So red, white and blue generally. Oh, yeah, just it's always what I've been since. Right. So I'd have, but my bobbins are the same. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't have red bobbin, red alarm, blue, but I've got to go all matching bobbins.
But different LEDs.
Because different LEDs, you don't know, other than the position of the light on the receiver, you don't know what one got the bite on. So I like going, it was the red one or it was the white one, but yeah, the bobbins have got to match. For me personally.
Good, I like that. Yeah, nice.
You know, my OCD. So yeah, that's one of the features. What else? I'm just trying to think of the obvious ones. There's an LED on the back. So you might, it sounds a bit crazy, you know, like who's going to be looking at the back of an alarm, but it's not for bite indication. It's essentially a lighthouse function. Yeah. So for people who've done a lot of boat work at night, if you go out into the lake at night and it's pitch black, no moonlight, no lighting from if you're in an urban environment, if you're in the middle of deepest, darkest France, no moon, cloudy sky, you go out in a boat, if you have no visual marker to go back to your rods, you'll never find it. You end up in matey next door swim halfway down the lake and you'll be getting in bed with someone else, you know, you go back to your bivvy, put your rod on his rest and then, so it's just a lighthouse function, so it's like a flashing light, which you control by the receiver. There's a button on the receiver, press a button at the bottom, and then it turns them on or off in its simplest element. A little bit of customizable, whether you want to do it individually per head or all together. So yeah, it's just beacon, lighthouse beacon, which is pretty cool. What else? Other obvious ones I forgot. The drop back function. So there's actually a different indication sound for a drop back, quite distinctive as well. So you know if you're getting a forward take or whether you had a drop back. The difference in sounds really distinctive. So that's quite useful. In terms of liners, I suppose, or whether you just knows whether it's a drop back or a forward take, like your normal run. In terms of settings wise, so you've got sensitivity has been changed ever so slightly. So one of the key selling points, or one of the key benefits of the R3s were the speed sensing software.
Yeah.
Because no one liked it if basically what it is, the line has to move at a certain speed through the roller wheel to give you an indication, because like it's drift. It essentially stops drift speed sensing. So like if it was ever so slightly creeping, which could be marginal weed, it could be wind picking up, you wouldn't get an indication, and you could customise the settings on an R3. And it's exactly the same with an R4, but this time you can do even more with it. So there's 5 sensitivity settings on the R4, 1 to 5, 1 being the most sensitive, which is your typical line moves through the roller wheel, you've got your normal sensitivity settings. There's no speed sensing or that. 2 and 3 are sort of your speed sensing ones, I believe, the same as the R3s. And then 4 and 5, a little bit different. Again, not many situations where you're going to actually need settings 4 and 5, but for those people who are fishing massive windswept pits, if you're on like, I don't know, Doudeur or anywhere where you've got like massive marginal weed, waves coming over the line, they're going to give you false indications, obviously, because if you've got a massive foot wave hitting your line every now and then is enough to, pull the bobbin for any alarm to give you a bleep, which is going to be a nightmare if it's night time and things like that. So settings 4 and 5, you actually need on setting 4 15 centimetres of line movement. So the roller will measure line going through the wheel until you will get an indication.
Right.
So if you have got waves which are pulling it up and down,
Perfect.
15 centimetres of line, and then it's back into normal indication mode.
Yes, you're not going to be up all night just bleep, bleep.
No,
bleep,
exactly.
bleep.
And again, like I say, it is a little bit of a niche sensitivity setting, but that occasion does happen. And I mean, it has happened to me before if I've been away fishing, somewhere where it is, or if it's really, the weather kicks up a storm.
It could be on a river back here, couldn't you, mate? Takes on a bit of water and you're on a river. And
and it's that whole, and the drifting weed thing and things like that. And then, setting 5 is exactly the same process, but it's 30 centimetres of line. So you get 30 centimetres of line before it goes back into the indication.
Beast mode.
You call it, we've got speed sensing, wave sensing and drift sensing.
Right.
That's sort of the terminology that we're using for that feature. 8 different tones, I believe. I'm trying to remember these all off the top of my head just from using them for a while. 8 different tones. The receiver as well. A lot of feedback on the receiver was that the quietest setting was too loud. So actually you can have quite a relatively low receiver setting now. Mute functions on the head as well, so you can have with the same with the R3s, you press it once, so when you're adjusting your bobbins it's not going off at the head, so you're not going to get annoyed or annoy all the anglers around you. There's now 4 different variations of a mute setting, so you can have sound and LED, sound and no LED, no LED and sound, or no LED, no sound if you want to go full cover. If you don't want anyone to be aware of your presence.
And poaching.
Henry Lennon, or you're doing a cheeky one somewhere. You can go full cover mode, so there's no lights at all.
And bobbin wise, there's definitely I've seen some pretty smart bobbins. Here we go.
Dogs at the trade show, we have everything.
Should a dog go for yourself? I've never had that before, mate.
No, we've never had that in the podcast.
No, there you go.
Just the dogs. And bobbins and swingers, essentially. So we've got illuminated bobbins, everyone loves. And this takes me back to when I was a kid. I was always wanted an illuminated bobbin. The old jack plug that goes in the bottom of the alarm, and you've got a nice illuminated bobbin. It is more of a tarty thing, it's just but it looks to business. Like, it just genuinely looks to business. If you sit there, you look out, or you get a bite at night and everything's lit up. It is, like functionality-wise, it's nice to see, but it's just more of an aesthetic thing. But we do bobbins in the same colours to match the LEDs. And they're sort of a unique adapter at the front of the R4. So it's like a twist lock, really easy to put in, like sort of a 2-ping prong twist. And then, then you can change the settings to have your bobbin lighting up or not, on off. And then the swing is exactly the same, illuminated swinger. So I'm trying to think if I've missed anything off of that. I think that's the bulk of the features.
And obviously, it's still got the same robustness features, etc., that the R3s have.
Yeah, another thing to probably touch on briefly is the range. I think that was another thing with the R3s, had incredible range. And I'm not advocating being so far away from your rods, but it's just confidence to know that even if you make swim next door, the range, I think, in the right conditions is up to 750 metres. Now, that's not to be 750 metres away from your rod, but that's just to tell you. You imagine the strength of the signal 50 metres from your rod, if that's if that's a safe situation to be in, through the foliage and everything, you're not going to have a problem, mate. You're not going to have a problem. It's a complete unit, mate. Like I said, if you said to me, sort out an R3, I said, you can't do it. But if you've just taken the R3 to that next step, and you've got something which is shit hot.
And, mate,
Perfectly.
you've done the full instructional video for it, mate.
Yeah, that.
Loz is a legend for this, because the amount of times I've watched Loz, former Nash employee, go through R3 settings on that video on YouTube, that is iconic, mate. You're the new Loz.
Yeah, that video was is one of the most viewed. It's just an instructional video because at the end of the day, people want to know to get the alarm out of the box, pair it to the receiver, and sort of on you go, and then you can learn a little bit more about what they're capable of. But yeah, we sat up the church as me and Tone actually, and I went through the whole manual in video form. It sounds easier than it is to like sort of communicate that. But yeah, if anyone needs an instructional tutorial on how to set up their R4s, don't private message me.
No,
just watch the video.
Do.
Yeah, just
spam him.
Just watch the video.
You're Mr. R4, mate.
And you'll see we've got some really cool content as well for the R4s.
So you're right, Alf, I'm impressed, mate. That is a lot of information you've crammed in there. Very well spoken, very well put, mate.
I hope I got it all right.
Well, yeah. I'm pretty sure you have. I'm going to let you go around the rest of the trade show, take some retailers around, maybe that bloke with his dog who came across shot earlier, and we'll catch up with you, no doubt, later in your new co-hosting role as podcasting.
Yeah, I'm nearly there, mate. Next time I'll be hosting.
You're a ledge, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Reedy, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you, Hassan. Yourself?
I'm good, mate. You've made me cry talking about a certain YouTube clip that we were referencing before we started professionally filming this, mate.
Yes,
so
of course.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the expo? You've been to a few expos before, haven't you?
I have been, many moons ago. I have, attended a few of them. This is my first actual trade show for Nash. So,
what do you think?
It's good, yeah. The boys have done a good job. It looks amazing. There's loads of cool product here. So, yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
How does it compare to the old NAS, mate? Did you have to set this one up? No, did you get the old chalk grid out?
No, I did have to come and set this one up yesterday. Yeah, that was a graft. I didn't miss that. It was like setting up a big show stand, basically. Yeah. But, I haven't done that for a few years. So I take my hat off to those that do it week in, week out. So
fair play. And, mate, it's busy. There's loads of retailers buzzing around the place. But also, it's nice to see everything together as an event again, no?
Yeah, for sure. Just to be able to see loads of people come in and we're back to some form of normality, and it's impressive when you see the entire range. There is actually one of everything that we do here today, so it's it's nice.
Only one Reedy in there, mate. Any parties recently? Events are back on, mate. You must have been out and about.
I've been quite well behaved. I've only done one festival and that's about it, but it's nice. It's nice to see the world coming back to normal. Well, as normal as we can be at the moment. So.
There was some interesting Instagram stories, WhatsApp group photos and videos from a certain wedding of a very handsome, very tall, very well-spoken French gentleman who my missus will never see.
Mr. Steal Your Woman.
Yeah, exactly.
That was good. We went over for French consultant Lolo. We went over to his wedding, organised him a bit of a party. That was great. Nice time away, south of France. We went to the beach. We had a lovely couple of days. So that was really, really nice, mate. That was nice.
And then Al went off to sunny Spain.
Yeah.
And you got shipped back here, didn't you?
Yeah, I got shipped back and come and set up the trade show. Woohoo!
Yes! Right, Reedy, loads of product here, loads of new product, and at the time this goes out, the guys would have seen all over social media and our website all the information with regards to it all. But we're going to talk to you about the Moonshine range, mate. Talk to me about it, in essence, in concept. What is it?
Correct. So I believe a long time ago, Kev did have a head torch in the range. That's sort of long gone, and we haven't had a range of head torches for quite some time. So now the guys have developed 3 new head torches, all in different sort of usages. So you've got a real, just a sort of a basic, nice, cheap, cheerful Moonshine head torch, which is the microlight. Simple features, on, off, 150 lumens, super bright. And a nice feature on that is it's rechargeable via USB. So no need for keep changing batteries. Most people are carrying battery packs now. That's something that features across all of the head torches. I think I'm correct in saying that. You can charge them all via USB. So you've got the bottom of the range one, or I say bottom of the range, you've got the sort of entry level microlight. Moving up, you've got the multi-light, which comes with a range of adapters. So you've got clips that you can clip onto do bank sticks if you wanted to light up your photos. You've got another adapter you can put on the front of your barrow so you can see where you're going at night. You've got another clip which will feature, you can attach them to Bushwhacker spoons, so you can ship them right up to islands and see how close you are in the middle of the night, which is a nice touch. The microlight, it's a nice one. It's adjustable on the sort of head strap as well, so you can sort of change your angles and stuff like that. It's a nice flat profile. It does feel really comfortable when you sort of sleep with it. A lot of people have them around your neck kind of thing, and that one sits just sort of lays nice and flat on the chest. So yeah, that's the middle one, and then you've got the top of the range, which is, I would call it Alan's secret weapon. You've got the Megalight is what it's called. The Megalight. It comes with adjustable sort of zooms and focuses, so you can have wide beams, narrow beams, and that one is super bright. To get the brightness, we've got a larger battery pack. It's got a battery pack on the back of the head, which has been sort of ergonomically moulded, so it's quite comfortable on the back of the head. But I know Alan uses that as he will go lamping for carp with that torch.
That is an edge. I never did it before.
I've never done it until I saw it.
I saw him.
Yeah.
Literally, mate, it's an absolute edge, because you think they'd spook off it.
You would think so, yeah.
Where was I? I'll tell you what, Dan Yeomans, Alfie, my first day, we went to Chigborough.
Yeah.
And it was November I started, so it was obviously wintry, if you like, still autumn, if you're Ollie Davis, obviously, sorry, Ollie. But it is getting that way, a lot of darkness, and you would lamp them and you'd see them in the edge and you'd just drop one on them and get a bite straight away. But without that, you wouldn't know they were there.
You'd be literally fishing in the dark with no clues to it. I've seen Alan use them to great success on canals and stuff, just walking up and down as he does, but he'll just blast the head torch on, just keep walking, and as you say, until he finds them, and that's it, drop them in amongst them. So, yeah, that one's going to be, I know he can't live without it, and I think if it's, I mean, it's a bigger bit of kit. It's not your basic one, but I think that one, if you're going to be out there and you are fishing, and certainly if you're going to use that sort of style, go lamping for them as such, then the Megalight is the one that you need, really, I think.
I reckon that's an all-round, like at this time of year, sort of going into autumn and winter, daylight hours reduced, and the fish do start showing generally into dark. Like it can be pretty dead through the day, you don't see a thing.
Correct.
And all of a sudden, those first few hours of darkness or into the night is when you start hearing. I reckon that, to be fair, is an edge. If you've got something that will be able to pick up on where they are, you can go sometimes off where you think you hear them, but you're never really sure. You can actually get something that focuses at decent range, or actually able to lamp the fish individually, mate. That's a winner, mate. I reckon.
For sure, 100%, mate. Yeah, I think it's that's certainly the one that I'll be using going forward. So.
In terms of lights, all white lights, or can you adjust them into, you've got red light, a green, have you got any other coloured?
All white lights on as standard, and then I believe on the Megalight you can change to red. In fact, I'm not sure, it might be on all three of them that you can change between a red on them as well, I think.
What are you when you're playing fish, mate?
I'm a no head torch when I'm playing fish. Yeah, no head torch when you're playing fish. That's for me.
At all?
No.
What about in the net, that first look? You've got to have a little head torch.
Oh, of course, yeah. Then you're straight on with the white light.
Full bright.
Oh, yeah, let's light it right up. Know what the prize is.
Nice, mate. You out fishing soon?
I am indeed, yeah. I'll be getting back down the Syndicate as soon as I can get away from here, I believe, yeah. Yeah.
Said that
about
so lovingly.
Half hour.
About 2 minutes.
Yeah, how much longer we got on this, Ken?
And in terms of you and product, are you in the midst of testing and developing more, mate, for next year's Expo?
Yeah, that's it. Now that I've sort of come into it, obviously I've only started a little while ago, so a lot of this year's product has already been done before I arrived, but now we're already working on 2022 and even 2023 as well. That's how far ahead we're having to work at the moment. So yeah, there's some cool stuff in the pipeline, which is... Yeah, it's exciting. It's good to see stuff and be able to sort of put my input on a few little bits and learn a lot from Kev and Alan as I go. So it's good.
Nice, mate. Well, Reedy, you've been a star there, mate. I know you're a little bit nervous because I put you on the spot. To be fair,
the second time you've done this to me, Hassan. Yeah.
I haven't put you on the spot.
You're starting to get a bit of a track record.
I think all your sort of hatred and dislike should go towards Mike Wilson, who dropped you in it when it comes to Expo time and decided to go and further his life somewhere else. No need for that. I'm joking. But you've done really well, mate. Thank you very much for talking about the Moonshine Rain. Look out for that. If you want any more details, go to our website or check out our social media pages. Reedy?
Lovely.
I'll let you go and schmooze, mate.
Cheers, Hassan.
Kev, how are you, mate?
I'm good.
You're
Really excited to
sun-kissed,
be here.
mate, aren't you? Where have you been?
Just been to Greece mainland. Never been there before.
Where are you going tomorrow?
All right. I'm going to Portugal.
Living the dream.
Look, I'm 66 now. I've done 40 odd years of this. I think I'm entitled to the odd holiday in the summer.
I'm not having a go. I'm just asking for an invite. No, I'm joking, mate. You're all right. You're more than deserving.
Many a day of 14, 16-hour days in the past to create awesome tackle like this.
There's a lot of it here, mate. As an expo, obviously, there's been loads of them. This event, this venue, I think not only is it perfect because it's sort of in the middle of the country, but as an event this year, there's so much new good tackle in there, mate.
A lot of excitement. We was really obviously concerned with COVID that we would be able to pull the new gear out the hat like we have. But so yeah, massive effort. Alan, me, Mikey before he left, of course.
Yeah.
And I have to say, even I'm a bit surprised how we managed to pull it off. It's for sure. Fair to say, I think it's the biggest new range of gear we've ever launched. It's the biggest new range of variants, I think,
right.
Variety. And got to say it, once again, Nash has brought out more innovative gear than the rest of the trade put together. We do it every year. I don't know what they do all year long, but some absolute winners, the R4 bite alarm. There's nothing else you want an alarm to do. Yeah, that's going to be massive. New particle and specialised liquids range, going to be massive. My favourite, one of my favourites is the new reclining chairs.
Yeah.
Auto recline, I just love that mechanism. What else we got? Torch range, Moonshine torch range. Yeah. That's great. Zero tolerance clothing. I haven't done that, and it's definitely the best range of zero tolerance clothing we've ever done. Yeah, and I put a lot of effort into the Bushwhacker as well.
Yeah, and we're going to talk in depth about the Bushwhacker and the advancements on it because it's been incredibly popular since it was launched. When you look back at all the new products you've brought out, talk to me about the process in which you go, right, well, that's brilliant. How can I make that better?
Key secret of Nash is all the boys are out there fishing all the time, and that's the only way you can come up with improvements if you're out there fishing. And we always very carefully listen to feedback. I am very proud that we're, as far as I know, we're the only large tackle company where if an angler calls in to the customer consumer line, I'm in the office. When I'm in the office, I'll pick it up and answer. And it's very important. I get a lot of feedback from anglers, and indeed, getting back to Bushwhackers again, actually a lot of the feedback for the new developments came from anglers calling that line in. Two in particular who, because they knew they could get hold of me, they was, if you like, become my Bushwhacker field testers, and they weren't even Nash employed. But we're not that smart. We always think of everything, which is why you have to continue to improve, and so that comes from feedback.
Mega. Bushwhacker. Now, it's absolutely brilliant. I've used it. I think everybody's used it. Fantastic beam pole. How has it improved, the differences with this version, and why, in an application sense, does that make it even more of an outstanding product?
Firstly, I've got to say that I think it's really important that anglers don't think, oh yeah, I can now present baits under bushes and whatever on islands. I think it's more of a revolution, or as much as a revolution in open water. Stealth is the absolute key. And fish will spook for sure off the sound of a lead or anything being cast and hit the water. I can tell you loads of stories where friends have had take after take basically on the drop in the open water because you can so stealthily produce a bait. I was told recently, I don't know if you've seen it, some famous footage at Halton where there's 4 or 5 carp following the Bushwhacker boat around. And it's not until you do filming, specifically underwater filming with cameras that have got audio, you realise how much noise travels underwater. to such an extent, for example, fishing in Europe, I stopped using an electric outboard. It's so noisy, so noisy. And I saw my take rate went up when I stopped using electric outboard and was just rowing baits out. Leads, the noise they make, and even landing on the bottom, you can often hear a clunk. So anything that can help stealthy approach, which is what the Bushwhacker's doing, is immensely important. So coming on from that, we recognised it was difficult to feel the type of bottom, which is really important if you are under bushes. Is it a load of leaf mould or is there a firm bottom there because the carp have cleaned it off? And that's where that was the formation of the lead bridge, basically, which is a clip-on attachment where you can put your line through for your plumbing rod with lead on the end, put the lead in the boat, and then put your drag, set your rod up in the rod rest, put your drag on loose, and then feed your baiting pole out, get it to the spot, which I said could be under bush, or once again it could be open water. Turn the boat over, the baiting spoon over, and then you can use your rod to feel out the line to get that clunk on the drop, or indeed, just like with a marker float, you can measure the line out as well. People might say, well, why have you brought out new versions to do that? It's simple, and we needed to make new mould tools. We couldn't use existing because we needed ridges of plastic to locate and hold the clips, for example, as I say, for the bait bridge. Also on the front of the boat, we've moulded into the front, and again, there's an attachment to the clips on the front for a deeper. And also in the Moonshine range, one of the accessories for the multi-light is a clip that you can clip on the front of your barrow, or you can clip that on the front of the Bushwhacker spoon. So at night you've got a torch to get out to islands or whatever. So they're the advantages of the new Pro system. So we're going to keep the original version for those who just want a baiting spoon. As I say, then we've got these the same size in the Pro version that comes with the lead bridge attachment and the deeper attachment. And there's also been, again, feedback, demand for a much bigger spoon so they can really put some bait out rather than have to keep shipping in and out. And so we've done a larger version of the Pro as well with all those attachments.
And you've also, which I think for me, using
pole roller,
is an absolute edge, because when you've got, especially if you've got any sort of length, and I've been with Ollie at Horton, you can send it out ridiculous range, and he's got loads of spare sections. But when you ship him back, to have that pole roller just helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just thought we also did a larger size bag. We did that for the bigger spoon, but also you could use it for the small spoon. Again, demand for can have a bigger bag, it takes more sections. So if you want to really have a bundle of sections, go for the bigger bag. So even though that was primarily designed for the big spoon, you can still put your small spoon in it and get loads of extra sections. I think it's refined now, as I say, very important. Listening to feedback, because from that, we develop, and I think it's the ultimate now. Can't think really what else we could do. In a year's time, we might be thinking different.
We'll be back here in a year's time. But no, it is an epic piece of kit. I mean, it's definitely caught me fish that I wouldn't have caught casting, as you said before. But in its new guise, I'm looking forward to getting it out, Kev.
Well, I'll tell you how much a game changer is, and it fascinates me. You go around the lake, you see so many, few of them being used. Right? I won't mention the lake, but it's an old iconic water with iconic old carp in it. It's day fishing only. Normally you get a bite in the first 15 minutes and a bite in the last 15 minutes. And the top rod would be five carp a year. I can't remember the exact total, but I think it was something like the guy had 12 fish on the first day and 15 on the next. That's all because of the stealth. Approach that you can use with a Bushwhacker.
Kev, you're a legend, mate. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to let you get off and get on holiday, mate, and we'll see you back in the studio soon for a podcast, mate.
Can't wait. You want to do one in October, don't you? About the church and lakes, don't you?
Indeed, mate. Don't give too much away, though. Keep them guessing. You take care, mate. I'll see you soon.
See you, mate.
Cheers, mate. Henry Lennon, welcome to the On the Road podcast at the Expo,
Bit of a change, isn't it?
Like it? Do you like what I've done with the place?
You've done a very good job, I've got to say. I think Tommy helped you out a little bit.
I don't know if he did.
But yeah, fantastic job. Yeah, really good, really impressive.
More impressive, you are now known as Henry Lennon BC.
You said it.
Not
You said
before
it.
Christ, but what does BC stand for, mate?
Big Carp, and I've been christened that by the two carpiest people I know, Brad and Curly, so I'm taking it, I'm running with it as long as I can.
Why? What's happened?
Caught a couple of big uns, basically. I did come from a lake where there's lots of big uns, so it's sort of by default. So really, I'm still catching the 20-pound commons as you would in England for this lake, but the 350-pounders.
350s.
I know, it's not like me at all.
I've had to look at both cameras there because I was 350.
Dun dun dun. Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty mega, man.
It was an incredible trip. I can't give too much away because it'll be a film, and obviously I don't want to. Well, I've just said what I've caught, but maybe I have to cut that out. But you'll see it all to come. But yeah, it was an incredible trip. Just the setting, the people we were with, the fishing, the actual fish we caught. It was the best trip I've ever been on. I hope the film ends up portraying that and everything. But yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Nice. Back to Coventry.
Yeah.
And the Expo. Best Expo you've seen? Better than last year's?
I think so. I think it just edges last year's. Last year's was, so I've been to 3 now, and last year's was a huge step up from what I saw the year before. And this one I think just topped it again. But the last 2 we've done that I've been a part of, just incredible. Like,
they're good, aren't they?
It doesn't, if you're an outsider, this isn't what you'd think a fishing tackle show would be like. This is what a trade show for a fishing tackle would be like. It's next level. It's incredible. Yeah, it's really good. Everyone who's involved, hats off to them.
Now, obviously, there's loads of product.
Mm-hmm.
The product that you're now synonymous with. I mean, I don't know if you've got business cards with this printed on for when you go out, but you are the Mr. Dwarf ambassador, which is ironic because I'm about 4 foot shorter than you. But Dwarf is your range in terms of you use a lot of it in your own angler.
I do use a lot of it. It's not been so much like, right, Henry, you're the Dwarf angler now. I just found myself using quite a bit of it. I'm very conscious of, I think it's because when I was growing up, I always felt, I would go over and work in France quite a lot, and I would have very basic gear, and I'd always feel almost looked down on a little bit by all the anglers coming over. They've just spent whatever, 2-3 grand on all the gear. I always felt very self-conscious of the gear I was using, but the more that I grow up and realise it's like, you don't always need that premium gear to go fishing and enjoy it. So now that I'm in a position where I can sort of get whatever gear I want, I almost still do it out. I almost go for not the lesser gear so much, but the not the top end, just to prove to people that you don't need to be spending thousands of pounds on your fishing to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that's why I found myself using quite a bit of the Dwarf range, because I didn't want to just get the top end Black Ops for the sake of it when I'm just going down and stalking sort of 20 pounders out the edge, because it's a very good rod and you'll definitely, of course it'll do that job, but you don't need it so much. So that's why I found myself using some Dwarf, and the new range has come out, and I've put even more into my tackle that I use from Dwarf, because this new range is an even bigger step up from what Dwarf's been before, really.
Yeah, decent.
Yeah.
Now, one aspect of the range, new aspect, is the Dwarf luggage. Now, luggage, I wouldn't say it's like A-list, ultra sexy when it comes to product, but when you're using it and you've got decent luggage, it is a game changer and it is massively important. Dwarf luggage, talk me through what's new, what's mega, what's gone on, because you've been in that development process, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been using quite a bit of it. And I've been working with Wilson, testing a few things when they were coming out. So the main things that are coming out are, we've got a couple of new rucksacks. A big one that's quite similar to the sort of I'm trying to think of the scope equivalent. I think it's the Recon rucksack. It's equivalent to that one. Then we've got a smaller one as well, which is perfect. It's what I use for pretty much all my fishing in the UK. I can just fit a couple of pouches in there, which is all I need. It helps you travel very, very light with it. That one's really good. Then they've got the smaller pouches. We've got a few like the little bags that you go on the front. I'm trying to think, like the bum bag sort of thing as well. Little bits. But my favourite two, without a shadow of a doubt, are, the first one is we do a Nash tackle, like a tackle pouch, and you put your medium box logic in there.
Yeah.
And then, similar to the subterfuge workbox, you've got little pouches on the top end to put your little packets in, but also the best thing about it is you've got a little rig wallet built into it, which for me is just a massive, it means you don't have to bring a rig wallet round with you, because I'm not someone who will have 30, 40 rigs tied up. I might have sort of 6 or 7. But on this little tackle ball, you probably fit about 10. For me, that's perfect. It means you don't have to bring that extra bit of luggage. It all fits in perfect, and it's great because you just finish tying your rig and put it straight in there. That's probably my favourite piece of luggage we're doing. Or it would be, we've done a utility belt similar to the scope one.
Yeah.
So you put your 6-foot rod in it. You can hold it with a handle, and then once you take your rod out, you put it round your waist, and you've got all the little pouches there and everything. So when you're going off stalking, you've got your 6-foot rod out, and then you've got everything just to hand that you need to have to hand. So those are my 2 favourite ones, definitely, out of the luggage range, without a shadow of a doubt. 100%.
Nice, mate. Plans for your fishing? Moving into sort of autumn, winter, dare I say it? You going to be on the rivers or not?
Yeah, I'm trying to catch my first UK 20 from a river. I've caught a few in other countries, sort of that weight, but it's my first year sort of targeting the river. But in true Henry style, I'm not really getting out of the 12, 13, 14 pound commons.
But you're catching them though, aren't you, mate?
I'm having a few. It's difficult because what I'm finding at the moment is, now that the days are getting shorter, when I'm getting there's less time to go out and find them. I find that river carp, they don't bosh much, so it's not like you can stay up at night hearing them. So it's kind of like a visual sight to find them. Because I'm just doing work overnight, it's like when I'm getting there now and it's starting to just get dark, I'm sort of getting half an hour to look around, and then if not, I'm just dropping onto spots I've pre-baited. Whereas in an ideal world, I'd love to have more time to go and find them more, as opposed to waiting them to come to me. But I'm in that situation now, I'm waiting to come to me. But I'm catching a few, but I feel like I could be catching a few more if I had a little bit more time. But
you need that mega torch, mate, from the old Moonshine.
That is what, that's nice.
See what I've done there? Always.
That is what I'll be using, and go around lamping them. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. But I'm having a few. I think I'll be having a few more, and I just want a few of the big ones. I think for the big ones, I've got to sort of find where they're happy and then target those areas, because at the moment I think I'm bringing in a couple for my pre-baited area, maybe nicking the smaller, muggier ones, and then they're spooking off, so I'm not getting the bigger ones coming through.
You'll crack it, mate. It's a matter of time, innit? Keep plugging away.
That's my plan. I've got a few European trips planned. I've got a few filming European trips. I'm also trying to time with personal ones. I'm just
classic.
I can see him over there, Dan. I'm trying to pitch it to Dan to let me leave on these trips sort of like 5 days earlier, take holiday, so that I can have 5 days personal fishing before doing the main shoot. But Dan seems to be reluctant at the moment, but I think I can.
He's reluctant to give you just days to go and fish abroad. Yeah, fair play, Dan.
To win him round.
Hold tight on that, Dan, unless we're all together, then that's all right. Now, I've talked about probably, I think, 4 items for this launch, because I didn't want to talk about everything. I think I've picked R4s. I think Alf talked about them. We've got the Moonshine range, which Reedy talked about. We've got the Bushwhacker that Kev talked about. And we've got Dwarf luggage. For you, because you're going to be my last up, what other notable products, if you had to pick 2?
So there's a few more even in the Dwarf beyond the luggage. So there's the new pop-up mats are brilliant. They're the ones where you fold them out and then you've got the sides that pop up, and then you sort of put everything together, but they fold up within themselves, so that packs down to nothing. And the new sling mat as well. I've loved the old sling mat. This one's even better in the new range. So the whole Dwarf range, I'd like to give a bit more than just the luggage. There's so much more in there, and especially with the rods got in the revamp last year. That range now for me is, like I said, I found myself using more and more of it, to the point where people do sort of say, "Oh, you use a lot of the Dwarf luggage in it, a Dwarf range," and it's just that I found myself using it because it's such good. It is really good gear. And I'm finding myself I don't want to, like I said to you, I don't want to just be using really expensive gear for the sake of it. And this Dwarf gear is getting even better than what it has been. So the whole Dwarf range, I'd say, another mention. But 2, did you say about the new ZT clothing?
No.
ZT clothing, 100%. I think we smashed it with the summer clothing, and ZT, we've done it again. So many of those pieces of clothing I would find myself wearing out wherever, more than just be on the bank. Mate. It's so warm. There's the ZT polar fleece, which I love.
That is a bit of
I've
you, isn't it?
stolen all the media samples. Dan keeps asking where they are. They're all in my van because I've stolen. They are amazing. Like, they're so warm. They're proper cool as well. They've got the big pocket on the front. They've got the big fleecy arms. They are like when we've been in Slovenia recently. As soon as it got cold, I just put that on, and that was me.
Nice.
That's me sorted. The smock as well. The ZT smocks. Again,
They're
that
an
really
edge,
cool.
mate, a smock,
Yeah,
aren't
it's the fashionable design that all the kids are wearing nowadays, with like the quarter zip and then the big pocket in the front. So the same with the fleece and the smock. Both really, really cool. That whole ZT range, if you're looking for some winter clothing, check it out. There was something in there for you, and it's...
Shall I tell you what I like?
Go on.
The old GT8000.
Yeah, that was going to be the other thing I was going to mention as well.
Purely because it's bigger and I can use it on my 10-footers if I'm actually like chucking a bit further,
distance,
mate.
yeah. That's for me. That was the only thing that let the 6000s down, was when you're over that sort of 70, 80 yards, they do let you down. Not just getting the distance, but also as you work into that spool a little bit, you do get a little bit of line twist. So for me, the GT6000, if you're working below those 80 yards, you won't get a better reel to match your scopes or your dwarfs or whatever. But now for that extra bit of distance, those 8000s are amazing, and they look really cool as well.
They balance it so much better.
Yeah, you've got that perfect balance for those shorter rods, and you've got the distance for them, and the aesthetic. They've got that like unique honeycomb of the GTs.
Yeah.
They've also got like that. It's almost that really cool old school, that blocky back to them, which all the carpy, the blocky back, which all the carpy people out there are gonna love. That's what I would have mentioned. Those GT8000s, they're something special. I think there's just so many impressive items in this launch
and
now.
luckily, this podcast will go out after all the media with regards to on social media and our web pages out about all the new items, so people can check them out for themselves. There'll be videos and stuff.
Yeah, on our socials and everything. So yeah, you'll be able to check them out. Absolutely.
I thought it would be good to save the best till last, mate, and I have done so.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're a legend. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed episode 50 of the podcast.
Is it 50? Wow,
and
fair play.
In a different location.
Yeah.
Please leave us a review. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers, mate.
No worries.